and this is the Thesis video. I think when we're talking about the role of sports in pop culture and how it affects and reflects American society, it's important to think of athletes not just as athletes in the sense that they are people playing games and physical sports, that their role and influence is bigger than that when they get into the big, famous world of sports, whatever you want to call that, which I think is the foundation for my thesis, that we're not just watching athletes playing sports, we're watching personifications of ideals. My thesis is that society turns its sports idols into personifications of ideals, so that when you watch two athletes competing, or, boxers fighting, or whatever it is, you're watching not just the team, but what they represent, or what that athlete represents. And then any victories or losses that happen in the arena of sports have broader significance for the entire thing they represent. So, for example, when you've got a woman athlete who really represents feminism, if she starts winning, it means great things for feminism. It means that people are going to be more into the idea, and when she starts losing, it means that that idea might be discredited. And you can see this in 4 of the athletes that I've pulled out of my research. In the life of John L. Sullivan, who became a symbol of masculinity and toughness, or masculinity as toughness, rather, particularly in the American men, this idea of rugged, strenuous guys that punch their problems in the face. You see it in the case of Babe Didrikson, who was the ideal of women's athleticism and what that looked like, and what the role of women ought to be in the mostly masculine arena of sports at that time. It comes up in the life of Billie Jean King, who came after Babe Didrikson in a slightly more sophisticated and refined form that was more possible in a slightly more progressive society. Well, more than slightly, but different society. And she stood for women's liberation. She was a lot more intentional and political in the way she presented herself, and in turn she represented a lot more. And we also see it in the life of Jim Thorpe, who had a pretty specific ideal imposed upon him. He became the symbol for all Native Americans as Americans, and what the role this group of people played was in a society that they were now part of, as opposed to enemies to. So I'll be covering all those next. First up is John L. Sullivan in the next video.